Hi there, I'm Alec. Now, a while ago, I made a video about As the Bell Rings, a short show that aired on Disney Channel in between the actual half-hour-long shows. Disney Channel has had a whole bunch of these short shows over the years, some to advertise their upcoming Disney movies that are coming to theaters, or events that are happening. Some would be little sketches with characters from their shows, and others were just straight-up mini-shows that were made to fill time. Because of all the kids' channels, Disney Channel rarely played any commercials, and when they did, they let you know that those commercials were hand-picked by Disney Channel. They'd say something in the ad like, Capri Sun is a proud sponsor of Disney Channel. Yeah, I bet they are. You hear that, kids? You may be watching an ad for Capri Sun right now, but you're still watching Disney Channel, so do not touch that remote. Don't do it. Don't do it! Now, some of these short segments, in my opinion, were actually pretty good, and some of them were just alright, and others were Shorty McShorts' shorts. But there was one of these short shows that I completely forgot about until I did my Wand ID Tealers video a while back, because that was when he graced my eyes once again. That tall drink of water of a man with his nice, welcoming sweater vest and that smile. That damn smile. Just by seeing him, the memories kept flooding back. So today I am here to ask, does anybody else remember Brian O'Brien? For those who don't know at all what I'm talking about, or have like a very, very vague memory of it, Brian O'Brien was one of these short shows that aired on Disney Channel starting in 2008. It starred Brian Stepanek, who most Disney Channel fans will know as Arwin Hawkhauser from The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. Arwin was the bumbling janitor slash engineer of the hotel that quickly became a fan favorite character, mainly because of the over-the-top physical stunts that he's put through. He's over here falling every which way, he's got rocket-powered roller skates, he passes out every single time he gets a kiss from Zack and Cody's mom. It was hilarious. You had to be there. He made all these crazy inventions. Who wouldn't love him? So then in 2008, after The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody ended, a commercial advertising Brian O'Brien for the first time played during the premiere of The Sweet Life on Deck. Which was a good idea because all of us watching were probably wondering, wait a gosh darn second. Where's Arwin? Excuse me, more Arwin, please. I mean, come on, these fucking twins, I've seen enough of them at this point. I need more Arwin. Give me more Arwin. I want more. Give me more now. You know, it never really made a lot of sense to me why Carrie, Maddie, Esteban, and Arwin never really got to be on the SS Tipton for like more than an episode each. I mean, I understand to some extent why Maddie and Carrie aren't on the ship. I mean, you know, Maddie is a student and also she's poor. And Carrie's working her job at the Tipton Hotel, so the twins can be on the ship. But I feel like Esteban and Arwin suddenly getting jobs on the ship would make sense. Like, for example, they could have said in the show that Mosby decided to bring some of his staff from the hotel with him onto the ship. Like, Mosby could say, oh, this is my best bellhop and my best engineer back in Boston. They'd be perfect fits here on the SS Tipton. But no, I guess Mosby isn't as loyal to the Tipton Hotel as we were led to believe. But whatever, at least we get some more of Arwin's actor in some capacity. And while unfortunately it wasn't through the Arwin spinoff that did get a pilot made for it but wasn't actually picked up by Disney Channel, I know I had to fucking mention it or else you animals in the comments are gonna be like, oh, have you heard about the Arwin spinoff? They did at least give us Brian O'Brien.
He's a quiet guy. Practically silent. But also thoughtful. Curious. A real observant fellow. And a bit of a disaster. He's Brian O'Brien. The Sweet Life's Brian Stepanek stars in Brian O'Brien, a short series that'll leave you speechless. New episodes Friday at 8:25, 7:25 Central, and 8:55, 7:55 Central on Disney Channel.
The premise of Brian O'Brien was that in each episode we followed the main character, the titular Brian O'Brien, as he did things in his everyday life. Like going to see some art at a museum, or going to the gym to try and impress a girl, or even making some food. Oh my god, he's just like us. I eat food too. Now Brian, who is just an absolutely clumsy cartoon character of a man, never really spoke in any of these shorts, besides just like screaming in fear a couple of times, or like mooing. So then, since the show lacked any dialogue, the comedy of the show came from the over-the-top physical comedy and visual gags performed by Brian Stepanek, akin to the old silent film stars like Buster Keaton and Charlie Chaplin. And of course, the closest comparison being Rowan Atkinson's Mr. Bean character. Like, there were episodes where Brian was having fun backstage while at an opera show, when suddenly he was caught on stage in costume and had to perform. Or another one where Brian is having a toy showdown with this guy with a toy helicopter versus his remote control car, and it ends with the most extreme explosion there could be. Like, oh my god, they're in a public mall when they do this. Like, that's a real ass explosion. People could have died. Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. This just in, we are being told that there was an explosion at the local mall. Wait, what was that? What was that? I'm sorry, everybody. It appears that it was just a toy explosion. By that, I mean it was a very small explosion. Not a big explosion. It was about as small as a toy. So, go about your day. We're all good. Nothing to see here on the news, unless you want to experience existential dread for the rest of the night. Rewatching these old Brian O'Brien shorts, you start to see why this show worked. Because it really is just simple jokes that anybody can relate to. Like, Brian goes to a movie theater and wouldn't you know it, the floor is sticky. Oh, don't you just hate it when that happens? POV, you're at the movies and the floor is sticky. Hashtag relatable, am I right? But there's subtle heightening on these jokes each episode that make it really well done. Like later on at the movies, the floor gets so sticky that Brian's shoes are literally glued to the floor and he's unable to get to a seat. So when he gets unstuck, obviously his big bucket of popcorn is gonna go flying. Even though we don't get to see any of the popcorn go flying from the bucket, it seemingly has all vanished. It's like when all the popcorn in my bucket vanishes before the preview is over. I'm so funny. Or in this short where Brian goes mini golfing, he hits the ball and it comes right back. So he gives the ball some more juice and it ricochets off of everything until finally it lands right back in front of Brian's feet. Classic comedy right there, folks, let me tell you. Or later on when Brian's really close to getting his ball in the hole, he instead decides to use this really long extending putter because he's all the way up there for some reason. I will admit, this bit did make me laugh when rewatching it. And most of the shorts are like this, just a bunch of fun, simple, harmless gags that are perfectly executed because the actor is a master of physical comedy, and one that us, the Disney Channel audience, are familiar with because we watched him on The Sweet Life. It made for, in my opinion, a successful and really smart short show that could be enjoyed by anyone, kids, adults, even those watching in different countries, because physical comedy is a universal language. You don't need to understand English to know that it's funny that Brian accidentally destroyed a dinosaur skeleton. You just need the setup, the punchline, and Brian's reaction to know, uh-oh, he fucked up. What a buffoon! Look at the funny man go! More! But the jokes don't end there, because when this happens in an episode, he'll try to fix his mistake. Emphasis on try. You know, he's a try guy, but like one of the good try guys. So in the case of the dinosaur skeleton, as he tries to repair it, he accidentally turns it into a car made out of bones, or even a little bone house, which I hear is going for $500,000 on Zillow right now. The housing market right now, let me tell you, brother. The other type of scenario that Brian finds himself in some of these episodes is him just doing things and being a silly little guy. Sometimes he tries to do things to impress his girlfriend Veronica, like bake her a cake or try to look cool while playing tennis. I mean, challengers who? Side note, I don't really know how we know that her name is Veronica, since, again, nobody talks on this show. That's just what Wikipedia says her name is, so that's what I'm gonna go with. I think maybe because there's an episode title named Veronica, I don't know. Most other times, though, Brian is just doing stuff. Like he builds a ship in a bottle, but he forgets to build it in the bottle. He builds a table, but keeps making things out of the wood instead of the actual table. He goes horseback riding, but can't get any of the horses to cooperate, so he builds his own horse. Wow, he really does build a lot of things, doesn't he? Brian's just out here living his life and is just an agent for comedy, because the show is about finding the funny in the mundane things in life. We know what it's like when dogs go crazy while we take them out on a walk, but Brian O'Brien takes that situation up to 11 as we see the dogs literally dragging Brian around. We've all experienced pools that can have some pretty ridiculous rules. It's just that the pool that Brian's at happens to have all the rules. And Brian is able to communicate the jokes that we see in everyday life with little to no dialogue at all, while also being set in real life instead of a cartoon, where we see most of these scenarios and stunts being pulled. And above all else, Brian's also an adult being put through all this. So it's funny for the kids to laugh at the goofy adult being put through the ringer, but the grown-ups watching can also be like, that's pretty funny, but also, I've been there. Not being able to choose what to wear for a date, having a hard time while babysitting, and having to deal with male pattern baldness all on top of that? This guy gets me. He tells it like it is. Well, not really, because he doesn't really talk, but you know what I mean. Going on this topic though, one of the things that I think is interesting about this show that I don't think a lot of people would think about is that this show, even though it is a bunch of shorts, is kind of the first Disney Channel show where a grown-up is the main character. I mean, you look at Even Stevens, Lucy McGuire, That's So Raven, Phil the Future, The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, Hannah Montana, Wizards of Waverly Place. All the main characters are kids in school. Even look at the animated shows. Kim Possible, Proud Family, Lilo and Stitch, Emperor's New School, Buzz on Maggie, even goddamn Phineas and Ferb. The main characters, the titular characters, are kids in school. But with Brian O'Brien, the main character is an adult. He has an apartment, he goes to work, he has a girlfriend, no kids, and a receding hairline. I mean, how much more adult can you get than that? Even though he may not act like it, that was a full-blown adult on our televisions, making us laugh for 2 minutes straight on Disney Channel. We wouldn't really get another show on Disney Channel where an adult was the main titular character until like Jessie, which even then Debbie Ryan was 18 at the time of the first season, and her character Jessie had just graduated high school at the very start of the show. But I guess if we want to get technical, or like Raven's Home, which even then was a sequel show to one of the more older successful shows. Brian O'Brien's over here being all original. But because of that, I don't think Disney Channel will ever make another show like Brian O'Brien. Disney Channel's brand for a long time has been about making kids feel special about themselves and that they can do anything, like be on Disney Channel themselves like the other kids that they see on these shows. The only times nowadays that they're making adults the main titular characters of the show, like in Raven's Home or in the upcoming Wizards of Waverly Place sequel show, is if they've got a whole bunch of kids on the cast with them. It's like they don't trust Raven, of all people, to be funny or something. I mean, come on. You nasty? Hilarious. Like, come on, adults can be funny and relatable too. We're just like kids. We don't pay our taxes either. I will say though, it's kind of funny to think about how the only show Disney Channel has where an adult is the sole main character, he has no lines at all. Alright, Brian, we'll give you a show, but you're not allowed to say a damn word in it, you hear me? Only kids get a say on this channel. Or should I say, they're the only ones who get to say anything. Now go dance for us, you silly man. Get out of my sight. All in all, what I'm trying to say is that Brian O'Brien was a one-of-a-kind show that has gone underappreciated since it started airing. It was a fun, short, and simple show, sure, but we got to see a master of physical comedy at work with some legitimately smart, well-done, and funny gags. And I think it's high time we give Brian Stepanek the praise he deserves. He may have left Disney for Nickelodeon, but he's a Disney legend in our hearts. Thank you, Brian, for all the times you fell over, flung yourself through the air, and made yourself the butt of the joke. I salute you. And your iconic sweater vest. Brian Stepanek, a fashion icon, some might say. You were able to take simple concepts in everyday life and make them way more fun and over the top while still being grounded in reality. It just makes me wonder what a Brian O'Brien short in 2024 would be like. Yeah, probably something like that. Anyway, everybody, that's all I got today for you in this video. A bit of a shorter video today, I know, but I kind of just wanted to get back into the groove of making videos, even ones that are shorter. Way shorter than a 4-hour-long video where I rank all of Ferb's lines. Good idea. Took a long time, though. But speaking of which, if you have not checked out my last video where I ranked all of Ferb's lines, please go check it out. I spent a lot of time on it, so I'd really appreciate it if you watched it. For those of you who have watched it and are new to the channel, thank you so much for checking it out. That really means a lot to me. It's been doing really well, and I'm very appreciative of that. But if you've already seen all my videos, which I know you all have, right? And you still want more of me, you can check me out on social media. I am at Alec Combs on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. Or if you want to listen to me in your ears make up a movie on the spot with my 2 friends, then you can check out my podcast, Screenplay the Improvised Movie.
I would like a gun.
Yeah.
You would what?
I would like a gun.
And how old are you, ma'am?
Old enough.
Have you graduated high school yet?
I'm starting high school, but I'm very old.
All right, well, you have me convinced. Here's a little shooter I keep on my ankle that you can have. He reaches down and pulls out a little gun and he just gives it to Marjorie.
This will go good.
Now, there is no safety on that.
You have a
what'd
knife,
say, ma'am?
Marjorie?
Just in case.
You have that on your person while you're sleeping? You sleepwalk.
I don't sleep. Pull out a knife. So that's
We
all I
got
got.
you.
You can find the video podcast on our YouTube channel, or you can listen to the audio version on any podcast streaming service that you use. So yeah, that's it for the video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will leave you with some deleted scenes from this video that I couldn't put anywhere else. Bye-bye. Fuck. I did not know that was going to happen. I'm glad I